Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Yeah, so it's been a long time. I apologize. I've been doing some stuff in real life, and that's pretty much over now. So if you check my channel, there's a short that outlines my channel updates. So scheduling to do GuildRock episode every Thursday, and then every other Tuesday some form of tutorial so that you can build the crappy builds that I build in your own worlds. Anyway, Merry Christmas, and this is probably the last, or maybe the second to last episode of Season 4. Season 5 has already started, but the episodes I won't start until probably the first week of the new year. So look forward to that. But I just want to go through some of the puzzles. I want to go through the puzzle book, and I might do another video before the end of the year, finally wrapping up Season 4, showing the secret stuff. But that all depends on whether or not I can get the mini blocks thing to work, because you know, it's a world download and whatnot. So let's get into it.
I got it down.
True international under pressure. What must be what?
Show some respect.
Let's go, Brandon.
Huh. Okay then. Julia.
They're, okay, I don't mean to, I don't know how to break this to you, but they seem like they may be pleasure pigs, like they're being kept in office for a reason.
Genome from the future saying, yes, you're completely right, this was a stupid idea. Since it's the end of the season, I've already told everyone that yeah, the time is up. So, no more opportunities to do the puzzles. And there are no new entries up here. So let's, I think it'll be here. Yeah, puzzles. And I'll do another episode that's gonna be secrets. So all the different secret things that I can think of that I was trying not to show because I didn't want the other members of the realm to see. So, alright, so let's see, what's number 1? The first one is, you're forced to choose between 2 doors, right? So that's this one. Joya says, what door would the other say to use? Yeah, that's the answer to the question. So the question is, you have two doors, okay? In front of one is an angel, in front of the other is a devil, right? But you don't know which one's the angel, which one's the devil. And so you get to ask one question to one of them, and that will tell you which door to go through, right? So the answer to that question is that you ask whichever one you ask what the other one would say, and you do the opposite, right? Because if the liar who always lies, he'll say that the other one will say the opposite of the right one, right? Because the other one would say the right one. If you ask the one that always lies, he would say that the other one would lie because he's telling the truth, right? So Joya solved that one, and he got the award. This one, I should have superimposed the solution as I say it here. It'll be, I'll have to figure out how to do that, but should be right here. Alright, so if we draw a triangle like this, this is where it's located.
and then there's a line between that angle there, where we want to know where it crosses the x-axis. So, yeah, so triangle looks like this. So let's redraw it a bit. And if we draw a line from there to there, and like that, then we have two equal triangles. They don't look equal because I suck at drawing. And, yeah, so then we know that the length of the top side is 4. One second, yeah, and the length of this side is 3, the length of this side is 5, and then we know that since both of the triangles on the left side there are equal, the exact mirror images of each other, we know that this is 4, and so we know that x sub 3 is equal to 1. So we also know that that triangle is similar to the whole triangle, because the angle between x sub 3 and x sub 2 is the same angle, and there's a right angle there, right? So then, yeah, taking that and that, there you go, 3. You can slow that down if you want.
And then number 3. Puzzle number 3. Okay, so multiples of the square root of -1 are definitionally non-real numbers, right? Because the square root of -1 is an imaginary number, right? If one multiplies the square root of -1 by itself, the square root of -1 times, so I to the I, right? So the square root of -1 to the power of square root of -1. Is the resultant number real or non-real? Supply an explanation. So, I believe that Hicks actually solved that one over here, in a very long way. So, okay, yeah. So Hicks says, first you can write I to the I as e to the natural log of I to the I. Then you can move in front of the natural log, which gives you you can take the I out. Then you can use variation I to the pi over 2 equals I. Then you can plug in this formula into previous equation and simplify. Okay, this is not the way that I would have done it, but I remember checking it, and I mean, this answer is correct. Like, I would have used actually trigonometric or geometry identities. Yeah, so you'll actually probably see that down below.
Alright, so we start with the fact that we know that e to the ix equals cosine of x plus I sine of x. So then we can find x such that e to the ix equals I, right? And that's e to the I, e to the negative I pi over 2. And that's because of the trigonometric identities, right? So, so sine opposite over hypotenuse, if you draw your identity circle, yeah. So when x is pi over 2, sine of pi over 2 goes to 1, right? And cosine of pi over 2 is 0. And so e to the I to the I is equal to e to the I pi over 2. So
Okay, anyway, so number 4, puzzle number 4, why are calico cats all females? Okay, so Joya actually made an attempt at this. So he said, puzzle number 4, because the mom cat loves the dog cat. Which doesn't really make any sense, but it's wrong. So the reason that calico cats are all females is because if you don't know what a calico cat is, it's where the fur on the cat is patchy, like a bunch of random patch colors. And the reason that happens is because the color genes for the fur is on the X chromosome. So when you get the patchiness, it's because 2 different colors are on 2 different X chromosomes, and early in development, chromosome gets expressed, right? The other X chromosome is silenced, and that is random. So it's determined earlier in development, and the determination is random, so you get the patchy colors. So, okay, so the next one is Python code snippet, and then it says what prints.
So the easiest way to solve this one is obviously just to type it in, to some word editor and then save it as a .py and then run it, right? But the solution is, we're checking if C and A, right? So if you just check those, anyway, true. The answer is true. Because C and A are both true, and D is false. So you would get print, not D, which is not false, so true.
Okay, so number 6. Right. So this one, nobody solved it, but you have 2 repeaters, 1 chest, 1 hopper, 2 redstone torches, 2 pistons, 1 observer, 1 button, 1 lever, some blocks, some glass, some redstone, and a dropper. Your objective is to make exactly 1 item move from the chest into the hopper in a 1-wide design, if and only if the lever is off and the button is then pressed. Where does the dropper go? And this one I actually covered in my video for making the redstone down there. So down below, I've got those different modules for choosing the books, right? So that is actually from that. Okay? So, that's number 6. Number 7. Number 7 is a big one. We'll come back to it, okay? So, number 8. How do you make thermite? Okay, so thermite is just, what thermite is a very, very hot burning mixture of components, right? So the way that you make thermite, which can actually like burn through the hood of a car, through the engine block, straight onto the ground, like it's very, very hot, very, very cool stuff. Hi Segi, but I am in the middle of this. So anyway, so the way that you actually make thermite is you have an oxidizer, an oxygen source, and a metal that you burn. So what you need is either aluminum or magnesium generally, and then an oxygen source like iron oxide. And then you apply very much heat, and it burns very, very hot. That's it. There are probably 100 different recipes online for making different variations of thermite. But that's the basics of it. And if you would have put any of those, you would have gotten it right, and that's it. Nobody did, so we're here. That's number 8. Number 9. Yes, this one. It says, convert 26 kilograms to SAE units. Now Hicks did this one over here. He says 26 kilograms times blah 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 pounds per kilogram equals that many pounds. No. No. This is a very big pet peeve of mine, when people confuse mass with force. Mass and weight, right? The SAE unit for mass is not pound. A pound is an amount of force. Okay? If you go to the moon, okay, on Earth, if you weigh 100 pounds, right? If you go to the moon, you weigh roughly a third of that, right? So you're like 34 pounds on the moon. However, if you are, what would be 100 kilo? Or sorry, 100 pounds on Earth in kilo would be roughly, if you're 45 kilo on Earth, and you go to the moon, you are also 45 kilo. Does that make sense? It's mass and force, mass and weight. Weight is a force, okay? Weight is the amount of force being applied to you by gravity, okay? So that's false. And the answer you will see in this inset is roughly this many slugs, because that's the SAE unit of for mass. All right. That was 9, right? So number 10, I believe Segi solved this immediately. If n is any integer, why is it true that, oh yeah, this is written wrong. So let's go here. 10, correction, n to the third minus n, not n to the third minus n squared. Okay, so why is it true that n cubed minus n squared, so why is it true that n cubed minus n is always divisible by 3 regardless of the chosen n? And the reason for that is because you can write n minus 3 minus n as, n to the third minus n as n minus 1 times n plus 1. So that means that it's a number n, so number n times the next number n plus 1 times the next number n plus 2, right? So 3 consecutive numbers, and one of those has to be divisible by 3, right? Yeah, so that's the answer to that. So now let's get to the big one. The big one is here. And I'm actually going to go ahead and log out and do the other parts, and then log back in and do this for the for the video, because I don't remember the numbers.
So to begin, let's start with the prime number one. So we're looking for the 22nd prime number, which you can either start listing out the prime numbers until you list 22 of them, or you can look it up online or something. And the 22nd one, though, 22nd prime is 79. So what we want is the sum of all the numbers between 1 and 79. So this. And if you fold the numbers in half, right, then you get 79 times 80 over 2, right? And so then the answer is 79 79 times 40, which is 3,160. So the x value is 3,160. That's the x coordinate that you're looking for on that page. And then, so the y value next. So what we've got for the y value is a cube inside of a sphere, such that the vertices of the cube are coincident with the surface of the sphere. Right? And so then what we want, what we know is that the sides of one of the the side length of the squares that make up the cube is length square root 192. And so what we want is the diameter of the circle for y. So we can find the length of the diagonal across one of those squares, which is this. So root 2, 192. Okay. And then what we want is the diagonal across the cube, right? Because that'll be the diameter of the sphere. So that one is going to be the actual y value that we want. And so we got x, and then we've got this y. What we're looking for is z, which is actually going to be the y coordinate, right? And so z is equal to, Pythagorean theorem, x squared plus y squared. And so we know what those are. So x squared is 192, and y squared is 2 times 192, right? So what we have is square root of 192 plus 2 times 192. And so so then we have yeah, 3 times 192. 192 divided by 3, so that we can get 3 out of this this root, is 64, and 64 is 8 squared, right? So, or no, 16 squared. Wait, is that right? No, 64 is 8 squared. I'll fix that in a second. Yeah, no. 48. Wait, no. Yeah, this is wrong. Okay, yeah. 24. There we go. That's the answer. Because 8 squared is 64, not 16 squared. Don't know what I was thinking. Okay, anyway, so the answer is 24. The y coordinate is 24. So let's move on to the Z coordinate. So this one, you got a bunch of letters, which you'll see down in the bottom left, and those, as some of you figured out, were nucleotide sequence, so DNA gene coding sequence, and the first one, AAC. So just going to use this chart here that shows the codons, which codons code to which amino acids, and then from there we can try to figure out what this line of code is trying to tell us, right? So 5 is TGA, which is a stop codon. Okay, and then we'll move to the next codon, making sure that we're going every 3, because every third, it takes 3 nucleic acids to encode 1 amino acid. So this is the 6th one. So we've got A, G, A, G, C. So serine, etc., etc. I'm gonna speed this up real quick. And so just continue assigning these numbers to the amino acids that are being encoded by the nucleic acid sequence down there in the bottom. And then we can follow along one at a time to get the 1-letter abbreviation of each of these amino acids. So 1 is asparagine, which is N. 2 is on isoleucine, which is an I. 3 is back on asparagine, N. 4 is on glutamate, which is E. So that would be NINE. And then 5 is on a stop codon. Okay. And then 6 is on serine, which is S. 7 is on glutamate, which is E. 8 is on valine, which is V. 9 is back on glutamic acid, which is 9. Which is E, sorry. And then 10 is on asparagine. Then we got a stop codon on 11. 12 is back on glutamic acid, so E. 13 was isoleucine, I. And 14 is G, glycine. And 15 is histamine. So, or, yeah. 15. So, T. No, H, sorry. And then, sorry. Then 16 is threonine, which is T. So, 978. So this the Z coordinate is 978. So if we go to those coordinates, 3160, 978 Z, and Y 24 down here. Let's see what we find. I believe I gave the hint that it was an item in a smelter, right? And you're supposed to give the name in order to win the prize. And nobody found it, apparently. But, yeah, so Digging down to 24 very, very slowly here. In creative, in the world download. Almost there. I'm just afraid that if I made a mistake, I might accidentally break it. So here it is, the furnace. It's got some pork chops in it, but what are they named? Porky McPork Flaps. And then, I think that's a cat face. So, that would have won. So that's the end of the episode. Those are the puzzles, puzzle solutions for Season 4. Quite a few were solved. About half of them were not. So I hope that you all enjoyed. It was a lot of fun making those puzzles. I was actually surprised that some of the harder ones were solved and a lot of the easier ones were not. But I was actually very surprised that nobody solved that last one that I did there. Not Segi had 2 of the coordinates correct, and Hicks had 2 of the coordinates correct, but both of them were missing the other one. But they were missing 2 different ones. So I think Not Segi's problem was that he was adding only the prime numbers between 1 and the 22nd prime number. But anyway, bye-bye. I'll see you next time. Have a fantastic Christmas. And keep checking the channel. Hopefully my content will get better and be more enjoyable, and we'll have a great time together. And please smash that subscribe button. Bye-bye.